Special teams. So not a whole lot of advantage necessarily to get on special teams, but it's important because you're constantly running these plays. Here I'm in man versus man mode, so I apologize for anything that seems really weird. There is the traditional down kick. So if you're in a position where you need to, like, you have strong cornerbacks, right? Because all of your cornerback and safety defenders are at the bottom, particularly right cornerback. You saw Woodson on that play running. That's kind of like a key, your typical one. Typically, that's what you're going to do because, again, most of your corner defenders are the ones that you're going for on this play. So that's kind of like the basic way that you're going to deal with this. Now, punts, of course, let's just get this out of the way real quick. Punting is either A, you see this and you just run out of bounds as fast as you possibly can. In that case, I can't really give up any ground, so that's unfortunate. Try to get a score here and we'll go on with life. So that, or right, you saw me doing crazy punt returns and all this other business. That's a risk calculation that you do on that. You can easily lose the game that way, but I've seen guys easily win the game that way too, because if you can reverse the field on a guy, you can get ahead of the clock, and then you're in a position where the guy is going to have to either A, let you score, or he's going to have to kick a field goal and beat you. So let's do this again, but now it's time. Let's kick it from the top. So from the top, right, who's coming out? Again, it's the interior defenders that are coming high. So most teams don't typically have that much of a difference there, but you do see a situation where a team is strong front end, like Denver, for example, Seattle, right? So you have Jacob Green up there. Another team would be Buffalo Bills. You're going to want to tend to go up to that side as opposed to going down low. And kicking in the middle is generally just, there's no particular reason why you would do that, so why are you doing that? Again, we're going to kick a field goal. From this distance, obviously, it doesn't really matter, checking on a thing, but the key thing is, and that was actually a little low, shouldn't do that, but you're going to try and line up with the guy's fingers when you're doing a field goal. So typically, unless you're really hoss, you just let that guy go, bounce on the one side, and then you catch it on the rebound is usually sufficient for the purpose. Returning it out, you will see guys, and I really should have returned it better on that side. That was my bad. You will see guys that will just run the ball out of bounds, and that's just cowardly. It's not only cowardly, you're just giving up yards. The key thing you have to remember on any of these special teams plays, whether it's punt play, whether it's kick return play, is yes, you're not going to fumble the ball in a disadvantageous position, assuming you are, which you likely aren't. But if you're giving up 10, 20 yards and you'd be taking 2 tackles, right, running 3 plays, taking 2 tackles to get that, you're not helping yourself. You got to put you can't be that timid, basically. It's got to be a better trade-off than that. You'll see in this game, right, I got 2 of the best special teams guys there. There's Rod Woodson high. Here I'm just being a jerk. This is just New Orleans being badass. But notice, right, there it wasn't great for me to wheel them back in just because of the... I actually want to do this. It wasn't great for me to put them back in there just because they had ghosted each other. There was a combo block on that play, and that was the issue there. But typically what you're doing on there, so there's kind of 2 phases of that return game. First phase is, okay, you're sort of going out there, you're running towards space, things like that. And a man's going to try and chase after you, but he's slow. Then the second phase of that game is once you've got guys after you, you're trying to pick them up, because if you got 8 guys chasing after you, that's just painful. So what you want to do is on that second phase, you'll notice, and I'll try to show it again for you here, that, and again, this probably should have been one of the teams I actually kicked it to the top. This is kind of silly. But you'll see here, right, take up space, and then I've got guys, can I get past, yeah, get past there, there's, what did you do? But notice right there, now, sometimes he's just going to like knock off him. I mean, there's no, there's nothing you can do about that. But a lot of times you can get a lot of yards if you can get the guy into a position where he's able to pick one of those guys up, stall him, whatever it is, and then you're in a much better position to be able to defend that, or to be able to advance yards. So that's pretty much the basic theory of the kickoffs here. A couple other things I should mention on this are field goal ranges are going to depend on, obviously the kicker's kicking ability. I mean, it's just a given. He's going to start missing, if he's Aldo Greco, he's going to start missing them about, he's going to start missing these guys about the, 40-yard line-ish. And then, of course, you start to talk about guys like Steve Christie, those elite kickers. They'll be able to make those plays at a much longer distance, so they'll be able to kick it from their own 40, not from the 40 going in. And, again, right, there's a slight variation to how you want to actually make that kick based on, where you are relative to the hash mark. It tends to go down a little bit, I believe, like a little bit down from his fingers. But in real life, like if you're in that range, just kick it on his hands. I mean, that's the same thing you're doing all the time. It's not going to make that much of a difference one way or the other. So we'll do one more kickoff. Kick it to the top this time. That's unfortunate. Anyway, I did my due diligence. Wanted to tell you something about special teams play. Oh, well, we'll do one more thing on punt. Just remember, this is clock wasting, and you can't block punt ever. So, yeah, I got my punter killed, but it doesn't matter. I don't get a penalty, but it doesn't matter. It's all good. Ooh, look at that. Well, I guess there's a fitting end to this particular video. So anyway, hope you enjoyed watching. Obviously, most of you guys have been playing for a while. Not a whole lot to learn here, but anybody that's new, hopefully you learned something, and leave me the feedback and comments, and I'll see you next time.